Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys, this is Mr. Dan. As we're diving into the process of designing your final poster on Photoshop, I started to look for tutorials on YouTube and whatnot, hoping to find a short, quick tutorial that teaches you all the little steps that I want you to know before I release you guys to go to work on your poster. And as I do search, I start to realize that I could not find a video that covers everything that I want you guys to know in order for you guys to get started and work on your own or work with your group. So I decided in a very last minute kind of a situation, with the help of one of my most talented and very competitive students, to make a quick tutorial that hopefully covers all the little itsy bitsy baby steps that you'll need to learn to get you guys started and get you guys hopefully flying in your design process. This is Mr. Dan. We'll see you on the other side. Peace. You're probably going to see a screen like this. Start with a new file. A window pops out. Graphic design is very exact. It has to, the sizes really matter. For the size, for this project, it needs to be 11 by 17. So width is 11, height is 17. This is a standard poster size. Resolution has to be 300 or more. Give you a little idea, TV screens or computer screens generally are 72 dpi, so they're very, very low resolutions. When you grab images from social media, whatnot, like posts, they are actually super low resolution because they're only made for 72 dpi. So 300 or more. Color mode, super important. Not RGB, let's change to CMYK. Basically, RGB is for TV and monitors, CMYK is for print. So let's hit create. Now you have this file, looks like this. I'm gonna go over some basic tools so you can start to feel your way around it. First thing is, you have to understand this concept called layers. I know I talked about it before, but this is a review. Photoshop works with layers. Layers, super important. With it, you could control your design very quickly. Without it, you're gonna try to make everything on the same layer, and you're gonna try to move things, and it's gonna be a nightmare. The first layer they provided you is called the background. Let's create a new layer by going to here. Okay, this little box that says create a new layer, hit it, and then there you have a new layer. We're gonna change the name because later on, when your layers start to get like 20, 30, sometimes in professional settings, 500 layers, it's gonna get messed up. All right, so better to have a habit of naming things. So I'm gonna name it like my first sketch layer. Okay. If you click it on double click on the name itself, it just changes the name. But if you click it anywhere else on the layer, it opens up a new thing. It's called layer style. It's a whole can of worms. This itself is like 3 periods. It takes that much to explain. So you could play with it, whatnot. I'll leave it up to you. So once you have your first layer, let's do something simple like let's draw on this. So go to the brush tool. You can press B to go to the brush tool. There's like a few tools that look almost the same. It's very confusing. But if you press B, so you could draw on it. How do you control color? You control color with hitting this black tile. Black tile lets you choose the color you want to use. Choose different colors, paint different things. Or anything that looks like a brush, like an eraser is a type of brush. History brush is another, we're not gonna get into that. The most you'll use is brushes and erasers, but they work the same way. So the way they work is like this. When you hit that tool, on the top left, you'll see this thing with a number on it. And you hit on that. That brings up the brush library. Yes. So you see different brush patterns. Okay. So you could choose different brush patterns. You explore. But I'm going to tell you a few basic things. First is the size. How do you change the size of a brush? You go to the size and you could change it like right here. It goes all the way from super small to something that covers probably the whole page, like 5,000 pixel. That's like something you could use for texture. So try that. Let's try something really small and then something super large. This is one way to create like a background-ish kind of a pattern. Eraser tool is very similar. It works the same way, except it erases. Some say in the design world that eraser is another drawing tool. Literally, there are people who make the whole screen or the whole canvas kind of darkish, and then they start using the eraser to take out and to draw, to opposite draw like that. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you start to understand this. Another tool I want to show you is the Move tool. So the Move tool is the top tool over here. You'll be using this a lot. When you hit the Move tool, anything you selected, whether that's a layer or a selection, we'll talk about this later, but or like a selection like this, when you use the Move tool, you get to move it around like this. Not only move it around, you can scale it like this, scale it. You can rotate it. If you find the right icon like this, rotate it. Next thing, same way you did that with the Move tool with a layer, is also the same thing you could do with text tool. So we're gonna get into text tool. Okay, so text tool is that T right there. There are many different types of text tool. I'm only gonna cover one today. All right, so the first one, they call it the horizontal text tool. If you press it a little bit longer on the T, you'll see different modes, if you will, of the text tool. There's horizontal, there's vertical, and then there's something even fancier, like it follows a curve, something like that. So I'm gonna do the horizontal. Click, you probably kind of know this already, but I'm just gonna type in something about that career, whatever that career is. The important thing about type tool for now are the basic things. How do you change color? How do you change size? How do you change font? First, change color. How do you do that? Yes, but be careful. If you, like right now, I'm trying to change color. Nothing happens. Why? Because it's not selected. I need to select whatever text I want to change color, then change color, then it will change. So that's the first pitfall to avoid, okay? Second, very simple. You could change your text, your size, so you can make it large, small, whatever it is. But it usually only affects whatever you select. If you don't select anything, sometimes what happens is it'll change the whole thing. Third thing is the font. There are a lot of fonts you could choose. Like me, I uploaded even like Chinese fonts. Sometimes try like different language fonts too, like Chinese, Japanese, or German, something like that. They have really interesting fonts that you might be able to use that you don't have in your English type font types. So explore into that path. All right, cool. So I'm gonna change that to 72, okay, 300. Sounds good. So when you make it this big, it now becomes like the one that grabs attention, that font size. There are more fancy things to do, like kerning, like spacing between letters, leading, spacing between lines, stuff like that. I think one last thing to show you is something called transparency. Borderline, a little bit of a killer tool. Super important. I use this a lot, okay? Every layer has something called transparency. Transparency is how you control how one layer interacts with the other. So right now, so you see where it says normal, that's where you control transparency. If you go to say multiply, everything is see-through. It darkens everything kind of behind it. And there's like 20 different modes you need to play with to get the kind of effect you want. Sometimes, literally, I'm just like, I don't know which transparency works best. I just blast through them like this. Like, oh, this one looks, okay, I want this, just do that, okay. Transparency is how I, like on my paintings, how I achieve a lot of the glowing effects. One of my two favorite are, you don't have to do this, but these are my two most go-to. One is the multiply, because they let you see things in the background. Two, color dash. They light up. They give you that glow kind of effect. All right, so just keep that in mind. You don't have to remember it, but just be exposed. One last thing, a big thing I want to show you is how to import images properly. If I go to, say, Facebook right now, I'm old, I'm using Facebook, unfortunately. So let's just say I found an image, okay, that I like. Let's just go to concept art. Okay, concept art central. So let's just say I saw this image, I like this image, I want to bring it into my, I want to plop this into my poster. Okay, so I just go save and get into downloads, right? It looks nice and decent here, but you're gonna see what I talk about later. When I try to bring it into here, it won't be as good, because yes, it'll look nice if I stretch it out like this, but usually what will happen is as you zoom closer, here, go ahead and use pinch to zoom like that. Okay, 2 fingers lets you scroll like this. Okay, so if I zoom in, typically, I don't know about this one, but typically you start to see pixels really quick like that. I think this image is a little bit larger, so it works a little bit better. But if you're in a professional setting, never ever go to social media and pull images. You always go to use stock images because they use much higher resolution. So that's why I like using so stock imagery like this one helps you find those images. Give me a search term for an image. Okay. They probably don't have it, but they found something like this. All right, so we'll download that. Click that, download free, allow, boom, allow. Yes, sir. I have that Demon Slayer, right? Go into my Photoshop. Boom. Drag it in. So usually when you plop it in like this, it automatically truncates it for you. But I would stretch it a lot larger, because what happens if you left it, if you left it the way it is, like this, what happens if you just leave it like this is that once you hit enter, all the pixels that were supposed to be stretched out like this gets killed off. So my advice is, again, if you bring images in, before you hit enter and decide that that's going to be the size, stretch it out big. Like that. That way you retain the resolution. It's going to look good on your poster. So for me, I have my thumbnail already taken picture of. You'll get to a point where one of your thumbnails, or better yet, your larger sketches, need to be brought into Photoshop so you can start working off from it. So I'm gonna just drag it and boom. I'm stretching it out. So since this is my template file, if you will, let's practice this. Opacity. So opacity is the visibility of an image. See-throughness. So 100% opacity means it's completely opaque. You can't see through. But when you dial it down, everything starts to see through, like that. So that's kind of the way I like to use to start my poster design. I'm going to turn everything else off. How do you turn off on and off a layer? Just hit the eyes. The eyes will hide everything. Okay. And yeah, and then everything else I build on it, whatever I draw, okay, whatever I use, type tools, I just do it above the template. I'm not saying you have to do it like this, but that's the way I do it. It makes things a lot faster. Hopefully you have enough information to get it all started. And as always, I'm in the class. If you have any questions about how to do specific things that I didn't show in the video, feel free to come up to me and I will, whenever possible, do a quick demo for you guys and show you how it's done. All right, thanks a lot. This is Mr. Dan, and I hope to see you on the other side of design. Cheers.